Hello there, and welcome back to the Codex. So for those of you that may have been living under a rock the last few days or weeks here, and don't already know, Ember and Rhino Prime are part of the current special Prime rotation release from Varzia. They're here for the next 3 months instead of just the typical 1 month rotation, because they're here in addition to the regular rotation, because right now is actually Necros and Hera, for example. The reason why that's really important is because Ember coming back has also brought back the Glaive Prime into the game for the first time in 2.5 years, which is why the Glaive got all the way up to like 500 plat, for example. But now it's back, and it's one of the best melees in the game. Here's why. So those were level 200 Steel Path Corrupted Heavy Gunners, and they were obliterated quite easily, and that's because the Glaive Prime has a forced slash proc on the explosion, which is the main reason why it's essentially one of the best melees in the game. So now we're going to talk about how do you actually get that, and that's with Aya. Fun fact for you guys, you don't have to actually go to Varzia at the Bazaar to see her wares. You can just go to the market here, open up the market drop down, and click on Prime Resurgence, and you can view the whole Prime Resurgence store from here and buy things from here. So the way that this place works, there's Regal Aya and there's regular Aya. So Regal Aya is purchasable with real money, and for example, you could buy the Glaive Prime directly for 2 Regal Aya. That costs real money though. Today we're talking about the farming method. As you can see, I dumped all my Aya into Glaive relics now that they're back, and I have over 150 of the relics for the blueprint, for example. Because I'm going to hold on to these for, you know, like a year and then resell them when the price goes back up. Great plat, by the way. So, regular Aya, how do you get that? You can get it from opening relic packs, because you can get Aya instead of an actual relic out of the packs occasionally, which is nice. You can get it from doing missions in the Void, for example, and you can get it from bounties. Farming bounties is typically the best way to get it, and preferably what I do is the Deimos bounties, because I think it's the fastest way, bounty-wise, or really at all, to get rapid amounts of Aya. So let's hop over to Deimos and talk about that. So when you get to Deimos, you want to come to Mother here. And the specific bounty that you're looking for is Brute Force, which is this one, but you want it to be the Tier 5 mission. And when I say Tier 5, I'm referring to the dots being filled up down here, referencing how hard the mission is. Like, for example, the Tier 5 is the one that gives 126 Mother tokens and gives you 40 to 60, or it's level 40 to 60 enemies, I mean. That is the one you want to do because it gives the most bounty rotations, so you can get the most rewards to have a single bounty, rather than having to go over and over and over again for shorter bounties. So, how do you deal with the issue of when Brute Force isn't currently the Tier 5? Well, you can just start whatever the current Tier 5 bounty is, go out there and either complete it or fail it on purpose, and then go around to all the mothers that are out there and find one of the mothers, and one of them should have Tier 5 Brute Force. Because once you get out into a Tier 5 instance of Deimos, everything that she gives should be Tier 5. So if you find Brute Force, it's guaranteed to be the Tier 5 version of the bounty, and then you can just keep running that over and over and over again. Also, another fun fact for you here. You see how right now Lloyd is talking? If you open up Nightwave, and then just close it, you skip his dialogue, and you see, boom, the waypoint immediately pops up. Because the game can only support one, like, code, basically, of dialogue running at a time. So if you force the Nightwave dialogue to run, you skip the bounty dialogue, and since the waypoint spawning, popping up on your screen are dependent upon that dialogue finishing, you make them pop up faster. So you can actually increase how fast the mission goes. So, right now, I'm going to go and work on either completing this bounty or get to a stage where you can fail it on purpose, and then I'll show you guys the next step. So there we go. Thankfully, the very first step was able to be abandoned, so you can see right here, the timer is bugged out, but it should be running in the background. So in a moment here, it's going to say that I failed, which is actually a good thing. Keep that in mind. So since now that we're out here in the Tier 5 version of Deimos, we wanted to fail that bounty because it's the wrong one, so it saves us time. So now I'm going to go back to the front of the Necrolisk here, and we'll check out this mother and see if she has Tier 5 Brute Force. He does not. So go over to a different mother. For example, I believe that next closest one is right here. And boom, she has brute force. You can see it's tier 5. That gives the 126 tokens. It's level 40 to 60. All of these do. These are all the tier 5. So tier 5 brute force. This is the bounty that you want to do. So the rest of this video is going to be me just essentially playing this bounty and showing you how quick it is. And yeah, that's about it. Although there actually is there's one quick step I want to throw in here to speed things up. So I'll be back in just a moment. So one thing I should have mentioned earlier, I'm just going to clip this in right here. You do want to have Itzal on as your Arcwing, and make sure that you have on the max range mod, which is Energy Amplifier, which I believe is the only range mod. Make sure this is on to give you max range on Itzal, and I'll show you why once we get back into the bounty here. Alright, well I got a bit unfortunate with the downtime while I was recording this video, and the bounties rotated, so now my only version of brute force available at the moment is a Steel Path version, which typically there's no reason to do, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. Shouldn't be really notably any harder, but you'll see the bounty stages, reasoning behind why you want to do this bounty type. So the rest of this video is essentially just going to be me playing through this bounty, showing you the phases. I'm also going to talk about some of the little ways you can min-max. There's one phase in particular that you can make it go notably faster because of the Itzal that I mentioned previously. And I'll show that to you guys. You also usually want to play this ideally solo if you can handle it, especially because, like I said, you're probably not going to be doing the Steel Path version when you're trying to do this, so it's going to be a lot easier than you'll even see me playing here, because the more people you have, the more objectives that each stage requires. So, like, the longer the objective is. For example, right now I'm collecting parts. If there was more people here, I would have to collect more parts. But you don't get any more rewards for that increased amount of time spent, so it's really just a waste of time, essentially. Because most of the time, having more people won't... You know, typically it's like, oh, more people is better, but it's like, no, because it's so easy solo that having more people doesn't actually help. If you can already kill everything instantly, like with a Mesa, for example, you're not getting any advantage by having somebody else there, so it's really just taking longer. So this stage right here, this is why I said you want to have Itzal on. You have to kill enemies inside of this circle for it to count, kind of like Netrocells. And if you bring Itzal, you can use Cosmic Crush and bring all the enemies to you. If they're being stupid and staying outside of the circle, then just do that. And I do have the Icy Augment on, I think it was called, but the augment that freezes them with Crush. That might actually be causing problems with them not being sucked to me, so maybe try not using that just in case that matters. But typically you should be able to use Cosmic Crush and kind of suck guys to you. You can see the Mutalisk flying guy, he got pulled over to me. There we go. That charger gets pulled to me, so that's good. And then once they're pulled to you, you can just unload using your Peacemaker. And that's pretty much it. Just get up to the 15 enemies you gotta kill. Typically these guys will be much less tanky because, like I said, he won't be on Steel Path. Let's see if we can just focus him down. For some reason I stopped targeting him, okay. If you guys want, you can basically skip ahead to the end of this. You can see, you know, the kind of rewards that I get. Hopefully I don't get absolutely no Aya and ruin the point of the video. You guys really do not want to come to me, it seems. Alright. 3 more guys, come on. One more guy. See, this is really why you want Itzal here, because this is insanely annoying. There you go. And then you just kill this guy. This goes much faster when you're on Steel Path, because right now, the reason I said there's no point of doing it on Steel Path is because the bounty drops are not really augmented at all by playing on Steel Path, so all you get is these enemies taking longer to kill for no reason. Again, we'll do the Nightwave skip there. There's 1,000 endos to drop. When you don't get Aya, the nice thing about these bounties is that you actually get stuff, other stuff that is useful, at the very least if you're a new player. Like, you get 1,000 endo and Amber Aya 10 stars is the 2 other common drops that you get. So, these bounties are really just an all-around good farm. So for this one, you just have to find the 3 tumors. You can follow the lights here, and it takes you over to wherever the infested tumors are. This one, you want to do an Arcwing too. And pop your 4th ability to give you some protection while you're doing this. And we just need to find 3rd one. Like it's over here. There it is. That one's really quick. Yeah, that stage is already done. So again, okay, and just ignore that there. There we go, we got Aya. It's easy. And again, after each phase, open up that Nightwave bounty to skip the dialogue. Shave off like 30 seconds to a minute on the whole bounty time by doing that repeatedly for every stage. There's another super quick phase. This is the one where you gotta just put the... Okay, I don't know why I'm dying. Oh, it was because of Toxin. That's why. Goes right through my shields. That's the bad thing about Infested. Typically, you would never go down in this Mesa build on the non-steel path version, but, you know, since they're like 100 levels higher here, their Toxin damage is super beefed up. So, again, just keep that in mind. Typically, any issues you see here will not actually be an issue when you're doing the non-steel path version of this. Grab as many flowers as I can here. Make sure you pay attention to the bonus objectives. Because if you do all the bonus objectives, then the very last phase of the bounty will give you 2 rewards instead of 1. So again, that maximizes the Aya that you can grind out. So this one, for example, is you can only use a max of 5 purifiers to get all the flowers that you need. So if you're too inefficient at gathering the flowers, then you will fail this portion of it. So in terms of the bonus objective, at least. You won't actually fail, you'll just get less rewards. I will show the Mesa build that I'm using at the end, by the way, as well as the Glaive build that I showcased earlier. Alright, he wants to drop the thing for me, huh? He wants to be nice. There we go, there's one. Just need 7 more of these. See if I can dash over and get some of these. Alright, one more. As you can see, it's very easy to do this one in 5 or less with the amount that you can get per one, even as the only person doing this. I'm about to finish it right here. There we go, you can just hop back into your Arcwing. Skip. Thank you for the Amber Star. And you're starting to see the pattern here, huh? Of really easy bounty phases. Again, this one, you just gotta kill Infested until the thing opens up and you can kill it. Now for this one, I've noticed, I don't know if they've changed this, but it seems like if you kill the actual spawn bubbles, that it might not count towards the hive progress, so let the enemies actually spawn. And one nice thing about Mesa, specifically for this, is that Mesa's Peacemaker will not target the bubbles, so even if you hold down fire while looking at them, it'll only actually fire when they spawn. So it makes this very convenient. Sometimes they bug out and the hives die instantly when you first shoot them, so if that happens, you can just accept that as a nice little speed bonus for yourself. Yeah, you see right now I'm holding down the left click, but it's not firing until they actually spawn, so you can completely safely make sure that you actually only kill the infested and not them while they're in the pause there. Also recommend key binding your Arcwing to a key on your keyboard. If you notice, I'm getting into my Arcwing without actually opening up my wheel, and that's because I have it bound to a key. That saves you a good amount of time as well, not having to open up that gear wheel every single time. Almost there.
Infestation activity has dropped.
Coming up next.
As you can see, we are already down to the end of the bounty here. Just one more stage. Got a Quasis blueprint, which is like one of the worst things you can get. So obviously you don't need that.
I have a positive fix on the
Now this one, again, super easy. You just kill stuff. So now that we're at the end, you can see why I chose this bounty. Why this is the bounty you want to do for speedrunning. The stages are so easy and so fast. And again, keep in mind that I've been doing this on Steel Path, and it was still this fast and easy. It's even quicker and easier on the version you actually want to do, which again is not the Steel Path version, just the regular Tier 5 version of the bounty. And for the bonus objective here, you just have to get at least double the Grenier's kill count, which right now I'm blowing out of the water. So that's not a problem whatsoever. Certified Mesa moment. Alrighty. We're almost there. And there we go. That's the last phase done. And now we'll get 2 rewards, you'll see, because I did every single bounty. I did the bonus. We got Aya there as the first one. And then we got a Quasis blueprint. So, for example, you can get double Aya. So I got 2 Aya in total from that one bounty. And that was, counting some of the load time and whatnot, some delays, that was 10 minutes or less. So that was 2 Aya in 10 minutes. You can get anywhere from... I think you can get a max of like 5, technically, which is obviously super rare. But I would say you average between 8 to 12 Aya per hour if you can do it as fast as, essentially, I just did. So 8 to 12 Aya per hour. And keep in mind that that's per each person. So let's hop back to the ship real quick and chat about that. Alright, so we're back on the ship here. So I just showed you the quick bounty. We explained how you use Aya. You know that you want to get the Glaive Prime if you don't already have that. But let's talk about more generalized, long-term, consistent use case of that good Aya farm. So if you can get 8 to 12 Aya per hour doing that Aya farm, let's call it average. The average there would be 10. So 10 Aya per hour. That's 10 Aya per hour per person doing it. So if you have friends, like a group of friends that all play the game, and you want to work together and maximize your platinum gains, long-term platinum gains to be fair, you could all individually go and solo that mission. Again, solo, not a team, just to make the individual runs faster. You could do it in the team and see how fast it is. And if it's still roughly around 10 minutes, then sure, go ahead and do that if you're all being efficient and whatnot. But otherwise, have 3 other friends that also do this bounty. And if you're all averaging 10 Aya per hour, then as a group, you're getting 40 Aya per hour. And think about what you're spending the Aya on. You're spending it on relics. The way that relics works is that when you go and do a fisher mission, if I crack open this glaive relic, this Neo G6, for example, with the glaive blueprint, if I drop a glaive blueprint, then everybody playing with me can take it. So that basically turns 1 glaive blueprint into 4 in terms of the team. And that's, you know, vice versa for everybody else's relics. So if your friend gets 10 relics, but he runs those relics with you, then it's the same as if you had those 10 relics. So if you can get effectively 40 Aya per hour as a team, then you could get 40 of these relics basically per hour. That is a amazingly insane amount of platinum that you can get long term, because if you grind out, you know, this is going to be here for 3 months. Even if you just do 10 hours over 3 months, which is basically nothing, and let's say that's 400 relics amongst a team of you, you get 400 of these relics, and then you hold on to them for like well, you don't need to hold on to them. Make them all radiant, run them, and to hold on to these parts for like a, you know, a year, 6 months to a year after the glaive is revaulted, you then have a ton of glaive sets that you can sell. And that's an easy way right there to coordinate and make a good amount of platinum. I know some of you are going to make jokes in the comments like, oh, what are friends? That's fine. If you don't have people that play the game or you don't like playing with other people, even if you just do this solo, getting 10 eye per hour is a pretty good return. You know, 10 eye basically saying 10 relics per hour. 10 relics of something this valuable per hour that if you're willing to hold on to is worth quite a bit of platinum once our price goes back up. That's a good platinum farm. Anyways, yeah, that's what I recommend in terms of farming Aya and some of the ways that you can efficiently spend it. And just think about that moving forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know. Do remember that we do have a channel Discord. Make sure you feel free to join that. There should be a link below there. Also, I do have channel memberships. If you like my videos and you want to support what I do, you can join for as little as $5 a month. You get perks like you see the occasional video early before everybody else. You get private channels in the Discord. You get shoutouts and live chats. And you get my appreciation, of course. Anyways, I'm glad you guys dropped by, and I will see you in the next one. Just kidding. Editing codex here. I forgot to show the Mesa build and the Glaive build again, like I said I would towards the end of the video. So let me just pop that up real quick. I'm using Dispensary over the first to solve energy issues. You could, of course, use Nurse as well. Here's the mods. You can feel free to pause. You can use regular Prime Continuity instead of Archon Continuity. I was using this because I was using a Toxin build, playing around with that. Energize and Velocity. It's just a well-rounded build. All the stats are positive. Again, pause the video. Take a look at that. Cap it if you want. The Regulators build is just a max damage Corrosive Heat build. As you can see, 2 Prime mods there. Just all raw damage, essentially. Again, you can pause the video and screen cap that. Let's pull out the Glaive there and showed the Glaive build that I was using earlier. It was a non-Riven, no Arcane build. I do have an Arcane on, but I wasn't casting any abilities in that clip, so I wasn't getting any of this extra corrosive damage. So the damage that you saw was just from these mods here. No Warframe buffs. Didn't even trigger the Arcane. Of course, if you do, that's even more damage. Anyways, alright, there are the builds, guys, that I said I would show to you. Sorry about that. Now, for real this time, I'll see you in the next one.